Hi Floss Tube, it's Sarah. Today is Friday, April 3rd. This is day 3 of my Be Well and Stitch sale, or hashtag BWASSAL. Just decided every day of the month I will do a new start with one of the new patterns from the Be Well and Stitch movement that all of these wonderful designers have contributed to. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to shoot a video every day, but day 3, I'm kind of impressed with myself already. So we'll see how long I can keep it going. Tomorrow is Saturday. My husband will not be working, so that might make it a little bit harder. We'll see. It might be fine too. Just depends on what he has planned. We need to do some stuff around the house, so there is that. But I should be able to take 10 or 20 minutes out. I said these were going to be 10 minutes, and they're ending up being closer to 30, so I don't know. I thought I would share with you my progress on yesterday's project. I started, that is upside down, Self-Isolating Bat by Night Spirit Studio. I had mentioned that I was doing a bit of a color conversion. I am using purples instead of reds, and I changed out the gray because it's not a gray that I had in my stash. So I have 318 for the gray, 550 and 553 for the purples. These are listed on my Instagram posts whenever I do change colors, because I am working with what I have. So I will show you what I did manage to finish yesterday. So there we have it. I was really happy to see that purple flower, the purple stands out in the flower. I was worried with the dark purple against the black, but there's so much light color around it that I was hopeful that would work, and it does. So there is my progress. I still love it. It's amazing. Today I will be working on, and I do not have, I have kind of memorized the first few lines of the pattern for the next one. It is Stay Home by Luba Davies Adelier, I think. She has an Etsy shop. She is a new to me designer. I have not come across her Etsy shop before. I will link to her Facebook page, which is where she is giving away her pattern at. I really like it, but so yeah, I'll just go ahead and start stitching. I'm just stitching on, I believe this is a piece of 16 count, just white Aida, and gone ahead as usual and pre-threaded my needle. So this is, it's like a heart with a home underneath, and then it just says Stay Home beside it, and it's done with pretty blues and purples. I've pulled out the first color, a couple of colors. I am going to do these, even though I don't have all of the colors right now. I am going to go ahead and do this one as charted because I really like it. I have pulled out the first couple of colors. Let me turn this off because it is glaring. 333 and 792. I will be stitching with 792 today. And I'll just wait and finish it when I can get the rest of the colors. I may have more. I know that there is at least one because it's one of the new colors, and I don't have but a couple of those so far. So yeah, I went ahead and pulled out a couple, and I can at least get a good start on it today. This is the color that is used for all of the word for Stay Home. So if I can get a good chunk of that done, I'll be pretty happy. So let's see. That is trying to figure out where I need to start. I think that is it. So I start with the loop method. I almost always stitch with 2 strands. My full coverage, a lot of that is stitched with 1 because I stitch a lot on 28 count, and I'll do 1/1 crosses on that. On 8, it doesn't really matter the count. I use 2 strands, so even if it's 14 count, I get like a sparse coverage. If it's 18 count, I get a really plump coverage, and it just, I don't know, it adds to me part of it is with 14 count, because it's such a big count and because the holes are so big, having that sparse coverage kind of adds, oops, sorry, to like the primitive look of it or the pixelated look of it. I don't know. It's just a preference. I like being able to start with the loop method, so that's part of the reason I almost always stitch with two. I haven't done any high count linens, so I'm sure that would change if I tried 36 or 40 count. I think 32 count is the highest linen I've stitched on, and I still stitch with two strands for that. So so yeah, but yeah, I usually start with the loop method if at all possible. Obviously, that is not the way I was taught. I was taught by catching the tail under stitches as you go, and I do that still if I'm stitching over one. I mean, with one. Almost always stitch over one. Even on small counts, I tend to stitch over one. Not always. That is not quite true, but I do have a lot of 1 over 1 on 32 count and 28 count. So my husband is working today. I'm trying to get this done before he gets home. He had texted me about a half hour ago saying that he had about a half hour to go. So, and he has a half-hour commute. So it'll be a little ways, but I wanted to go ahead and get a start on this one while it was still quiet in the house. Quietish. I'm really surprised that none of the cats have made an appearance while I've been doing these stitch with me's, because they tend to like to be on my lap, especially when I'm trying to stitch. It's kind of awkward sometimes because they want to try to lay on the fabric, and that doesn't always work. Nice thing about these are pretty small, so it's fine. They can't really lay on the fabric if it doesn't reach my lap. But yeah, they are, I don't know, I guess I just do it during their nap times. They're all sleeping right now. We have 3 cats. We have 2 that were rescues from a shelter that we got 2010, I think, is when we adopted them. And they are litter mates. They are both gingers. Then one of them is AJ. The boy cat is AJ. We also call him Boy Cat. And the girl cat is Bella, and we also call her Girl Cat. And they guessed that they were about 2 years old when we first adopted them, so they are about 12 now. And then Zach, Z-A-K, if that matters to anybody, was found on our porch by my daughter. She came out trying to figure out what the meowing she was hearing was, and I could tell that girl cat was a little agitated, and I couldn't figure out why. And apparently she was hearing the meowing from outside as well. So we had put some food and water out for him. Funny story, we actually thought it was a female at first. He's still a little young, I guess, when we first looked. And when we took her in to go get spayed, turns out that she got neutered instead. So there's that. But we had lined up a home for him to go to because we weren't sure how the older 2 cats were going to react to a new kitten. And as my daughter was washing out the crate because it had been stored in the crawl space, she was getting that cleaned up so that we could take him to his new home. And she was just standing out there crying. And I was like, well, I talked to my husband Devin, and he's like, well, I guess we'll try to introduce him to the cats and see how that goes. And it was a little patchy rough at first, and we kind of kept him secluded in one of the bathrooms at the beginning, and then just kind of gradually introduced them. When we tried to force it, they were not happy, but as we let him just kind of explore, it became a little easier. So yeah, we ended up with a third cat. So he is just about 2 years old right now. So he is just exiting the kitten stage. Um, he is a bit of a pain in the butt. We never had problems with our other cats wanting to get up on counters or um, with the exception of a few human foods trying to get into those. Marshmallows. You can't leave a bag of marshmallows anywhere that these cats can find because they will and they will eat them. But this cat will get into all manner of food, bread especially. We never had problems with bread. We could leave bread out on the counter or table and never have an issue with it. So with the occasional, like if the kitchen window's open, we might have a cat that tried to climb up on the sink just so that they could get a little bit of that breeze from outside, I guess. But yeah, he likes to get into the garbage. He likes to get onto tables and counters. It's better now, but it was real bad when he first moved in. Yeah, so yeah, I'm a little surprised. We also we have a ball python who is he was adopted late 2009, so or bought. He wasn't adopted. We got him at a reptile fair in 2009, and then we have 3 tarantulas that were also bought at a reptile show, a different one, much more recently, like 1 or 2 years ago. I'm not exactly sure. You would think I would know this. And those are my husband and daughters. Those 3 tarantulas. I don't really do anything with them. Um, they are not handled. They are just in their cages and growing. My husband's is a salmon bird eater, which is I think was the second largest spider in the world. So he will get big. We just keep having to get him new enclosures as he grows. And then the other two are I don't even know. One is a green bottle blue. I know that much. That is my daughter's, and then there's a third one, and I'm really not even sure who that belongs to. um, so I think they started out with 4. They raised them from slings, which is I guess fairly difficult to do, especially as new spider keepers. And they did lose one of them, but the other 3 seem to be thriving and healthy. So, but no, I don't really have a fear of bugs or snakes or any of that stuff, so I'm fine with it. I just didn't want more animals to take care of. And I mean, part of the getting the cats to begin with is that my daughter um, is responsible for feeding them, make sure they have water, cleaning their litter boxes, all of that stuff. So outside of the occasional, if she's not home, me cleaning the litter box, or um, I'll feed them if she's busy. But other than that, I'm pretty hands off with them. Other than they like to snuggle up with me, which is fine. I'm much more of a dog person than a cat person, but it's harder for us to have a dog than a cat right now. And just because if we go away overnight, we can leave the cats and they're fine. But if we would have problems if we had a dog. And I mean, obviously, you want to make sure that they're taken care of, and I don't think we could afford to every time we left for a weekend go put a dog in a kennel. We do if we leave for a few days. We will put the youngest cat in the kennel because he will eat all of the food. He is a little big, so we have to put him in the kennel, and the other 2 are fine. They are fine for 2 or 3 days by themselves. But if we leave the kitten here for that long, he's fine overnight. But beyond that, they would have like no food at the end of the trip. So so yeah, we'll put him in the kennel if it's an extended period of time, more than a night. I really like this color, the 792. It's kind of like a really dark cornflower blue. I think that's what it's called even. I really like cornflower blue. It's such a pretty color. It's starting to feel like spring. It's warm. Birds are chirping. My allergies are nuts. That is a thing that happens every spring. We all three of us suffer from allergies pretty hard. So it's not really a fun time to be out in the country. We'll have those days that the car, our car now is gray, but our last car was white, and it would just be yellow. um, I mean, I'm assuming that'll still happen with the gray. We just got the new car in the fall, so we haven't got to see it covered with pollen yet. I think this is going to be a quick, easy stitch. Oops. Okay, this one's going a little bit faster. I have about 6 more stitches to go, from what I remember, and that'll probably come close to finishing off this strand. Like I said, I don't really want to spend the I don't want to use up the paper just for these quick stitches, and printer ink and all of that. So especially when it's not just easy to just run out to the store and replenish your printer ink. So I stitch from my phone a lot anyway. I tend to stitch from either Pattern Keeper or PDFs, even images. I use an application called Squid, which is like a note-taking app, and I can import PDFs. It's $1 a month, so I pay that, and you can import PDFs into it, and then you can use a highlighter pen. I have a Note 8, which means that I have a stylus, so I can actually mark stuff off with the stylus, which I just really, really adore being able to do that. So because of that, I just go ahead most of the time and use my phone if it's a digital pattern, because it's just easier. I don't have to worry about it. I can keep track of everything on my phone, which means I always have it. If I'm wanting to get something up, I have that pattern, so I can go and make sure I have all the colors. I also use an app called Thread Organizer, I want to say. It is one that I just keeps I'm able to keep an inventory of all of my floss, so I know really easily what I need. I can create a shopping list. One of the new features that she's added is that you can just mark when you're running low on something. So maybe it's not something that you need right now, but you can kind of keep an eye out, if you go to the store and you want to buy a few of those that you're running low on, to keep from running out of it. That's handy, but it's not necessary if you're, when I go in, I try to buy like between 5 and 10 skeins, when I'm buying floss. So this is what I managed to get done today on Stay Home. Like I said, this is Luba Davies Adeline, and she has an Etsy shop. I am going to be perusing her Etsy shop because I really like this pattern. So there might be a few more things on my wish list by the end of the day. So yeah, this is my progress for today. I will post my progress tonight on like my day, what I managed to get done tonight on my Instagram. I will have all of the links, all of that information down below. My Instagram name. I will link to the Be Well and Stitch movement hashtag. Not link. I will post it down below. Hashtag Be Well and Stitch SAL, or BWASSAL is the actual hashtag that I'm using if you want to follow along with that. And I will, if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you soon, and I will catch you up on what I've been able to do since then, or since now. I don't even know what I'm saying. So anyway, I hope y'all have a great rest of the day, and if I don't see you before, a great weekend, and I'll be back at the very least on Monday with a new floss tube. So, because I am still planning on, oh, that is something I did want to mention. I don't know if you've noticed, I went ahead and picked a different color header for my Stitch with Me's versus my floss tube, so it's real easy to tell what you're getting yourself into. So just be on the lookout for that. The purple is the Stitch with Me's, the green is my regular floss tubes, which I am going to continue to, even though I haven't worked on anything. I actually do have a new start that I'll get to share with you on Monday. I lied. Other than these Be Well and Stitch things. So, if I don't see you before then, I will see you Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.